Hi, guys. This is Jella, and welcome back to another episode of the Wise and the Curious podcast where the prudent meets the eager. So, before we start, I would like to thank you for all your unending support and for providing all the feedback and for still listening to our episodes. And today, this is very exciting because we're going to talk about something that's really important. Let's welcome the psychologist in the making, our guest, Hazel Leen Ganoran. Hi, Hazel.
Hi. Hello.
How
Hi,
are
Ati
you?
Ann. I will just call you how I called you before.
Yeah.
I'm good. Had my workout this morning.
Do you do workouts every day or do you have a schedule to follow?
I don't have any schedule to follow, but workout is a major to-do list for all of us. It's really, really hard to do workout. Sometimes it's the battle of an hour mindset and how to do workout. But I do workout whenever there is a momentum. There's a need for my mood to be stabilized before my work. Yeah. But I make sure that every week I hit my goal, like three workouts for a week or what or more. Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, whatever, how many times you work out, the important thing is you're trying to work out. Yeah, I'm proud of
Hmm.
you. So,
Thank you.
and what's keeping you busy these days apart from the workout?
I'm currently a psychology student, so I'm taking my classes online. To be honest, I'm a returnee student, so I'm thankful for our school for accepting me to still pursue my course. And I'm working as a virtual assistant, which is very new to me, and I'm having fun right now in talking to some people, even if it's online and I cannot see them. And I'm growing in my work right now because I'm praying to God that I want to work out on my, in my speaking skills, communication skills. And I think God is, leading me to the right path right now. So I'm happy. I'm happy both in my work, in my school, and in my family.
That's cool. So you've mentioned you're
Mhm.
a returnee. What's the story about that?
I took units in Bible school for 3 years in a certain organization. They're located at Manila, and there I pursued my calling. Unfortunately, I need to step back in that organization for a certain reason, and I need to finish my studies. Hmm.
And that's one form of self-love because you know you're
Yes.
you're you're making sure that you're growing as a person. But I have to ask you first, why did you choose psychology?
Well, I chose psychology accidentally because my first desired course is accountancy, and I was led into engineering department. And then unfortunately when we need to relocate from Romblon to Cavite, we thought that there is one location for Cavite State University, but little did I know there's a lot of campuses. So I'm nearby Imos campus. That's why there's no engineering course there. That's why I chose psychology, and I think that is God's way for me to study and pursue this course because I've been through a lot that which is unexplainable to me, but pursuing this course, it helps me to understand what's happening, what's going on in my life. And it's really, really passionate to pursue psychology.
What's making you love the course itself?
Psychology is very lovable when it comes to helping people, because for us to help people in this field we need to be equipped, we need to be composed in ourselves, because it's not an easy task to listen to a people who is dealing with this certain problem, who is undergoing this disorder. And I love psychology when it also comes to specifically I'm fond of studying brains. I love psychology when it comes to understanding the brain, helping people, doing guidance and counseling. And this field, I think this field is really, really important in our society, because mental health is really important for all of us. For us to function in this world, we need to be what? We need to be having this good mental health.
I gotta agree with you. Psychology really matters, really plays an important role for us to be mentally stable. Me, myself, I also read some psychology books. But yeah, going straight to our topic about self love, I want to ask you, Why are you comfortable, speaking about self-love? I believe that when you want to talk about something, it really means a lot to you. So in your
Hmm.
case, what's with self-love?
Thank you for that. Because self-love is something that I ignored before. I don't have the sense of worth in myself before, because telling you, especially to the listeners, I've been through a lot since I was a kid. So my mom, my family knew about this. I've been through a lot. I've been had this traumatic experiences, as in traumatic. Okay. So I ignored the self-love, I ignored self-worth, self-care. I can say right now that before, I'm not particular with my appearance. I'm not particular with my weight. I'm not particular with my nails, everything. I'm not particular with it because I ignored self-love and self-worth. But self-love is something that we need to understand, especially this time during this pandemic. So I can say that I worked out understanding self-love for years and until now. Continuous working on self-love. Why? Because no one will love you, just yourself. I mean, no one will love you. Yeah, you have your parents, you have your sister, you have your relatives, but no one will always be responsible for yourself. That's just you yourself. It's not an act of selfishness. It's an act of loving yourself. I mean, loving yourself just as how God loves you so much. You need to take care and make importance for yourself. So, okay, let's be specific with this term. I've been abused mentally, physically, in manner, and it's okay for me to talk about it right now. But there are people, there are circumstances who taught me how to do self-love. All right. So there are people who keeps on reminding me, love yourself, Hazel, love yourself, set boundaries. And I will say to them, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. I love this person. Yeah, I love this person. I want to give all my love to this person. It's just not good when you give yourself out everything to your work, to your relationship, to the people around you. It's not good. This moment, I've been walking away for a certain relationship, doing some blocking in social media, unfollowing, because I'm also a follower of this certain movement, which is the minimalist. I'm also listening to their podcast. I mean, if you are not comfortable enough, you need to do unfollowing too, because you need to take care of yourself. I mean, for you to take care of to take care of others, you need to take care of yourself. For you to love others, you need to do self-love. I mean, how can you take care of your family? How can you take care of your parents when they get old if you don't love yourself, if you don't take care of yourself? Yeah, so self-love is very, very important to me. Talk about it, especially when it comes to being aware. Recently, I'm applying some psychological principles in doing self-love or what. So I'm being aware of my thought. I'm being aware of what I'm doing right now, and there are bad days coming, but I'm saying to myself, it's okay for you to just survive for this day. I mean, you don't need to be hard to yourself. You as a listener right now, if you are not practicing self-love, and that's okay, but you need to aim for it to practice self-love, because the game is different. Iba yung mindset when you love yourself. Yeah, it goes along with working out with your goals, working out with your appearance and anything, self-esteem, self-worth.
I have to like ask permission because you've mentioned earlier that you've been abused. Are you
Hmm.
okay to talk about it, or do you want to set boundaries?
We can talk about it.
Ah, that's great. Okay.
Okay.
So you've mentioned earlier that you've been abused. What age are we talking here? And in what forms?
All right. So, this is a disclaimer for the listener. All right. So, I was abused when I was 12 years old, and I'm not proud to say this, but I will use this as a testimony. All right. This is a form of testimony that God saved me there. God made me whole again. Right. So I was abused when I was 12 years old, and I experienced a rape. It's hard. It's really hard. That is something that is really haunts me until now. But thank God that God called me. God called me in the ministry. God changed me. God just saved me there. And I can say and I can fully testify right now that God helped me to get through with those situations, with those worst thoughts, worst criticisms from the people around me. And being abused in a young age is not that easy. It's really not that easy because it hits your mental health. It heals your memory.
But you were too young then. How did you handle it? I mean, how did it impact your childhood? Because for sure, it has a lot of impacts on you. How did you
Mhm.
handle those?
I can remember vividly that I was like tulala.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, and but I'm thankful for my family, for my mom and my dad and my sister who've been with me to, to tackle those situation like that, to deal with those situations because I cannot face that with by myself. But I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for the family that I have, especially my relatives, that they help me. They are with me along the way, so that's why I mentioned earlier that we need to relocate to the certain place here in Cavite to have a fresh start. But it's not a solution to relocate. I mean, for you to deal with it, for you to get through with it, you need to deal the middle part. I mean, you need to talk about it. You need to hit the middle part. And that's I've been through. So, I went through the process. I did not go to any psychologist or any therapist. I've been through the process. There are bad days. There are suicidal moments. There are suicidal moments because I really want to end my life. But God is just saving me because He has a purpose in my life. God showed love to me first. That's why before I cannot understand how to love myself in a manner of God is loving me. But God is helping me to understand self-love.
I was really surprised. You're
Yeah.
really strong. I can't think of words to say right now, like after hearing that. I mean, it's not okay to be abused. What more if it's about rape? How did your family handle this?
I remember my mom and my dad. We are in a broken family before, and I think they did not handle the situation well. So I remember my mom been through. I mean, there are a lot of bad days that I saw to her, also for my dad. I mean, but my mom stayed with with her parents. They spent time in praying. They spent time in reading the Word of God. I mean, more on about God. And I can really, really say that without God, we are not here. This is not to be too spiritual, all right, for the listeners. This is not to be too spiritual, but it's more on God that without God, my family cannot handle it well. But like I mentioned, we've been in a broken family, but through the grace of God, Tagalog is biyaya, 'di ba? Through the grace of God, we are now together. We are happy and we are doing some catch ups because we missed years of, exercising or doing love to each other. But we are now happy and it's through the grace of God.
I'm happy for you, but
Thank
I want to
you.
talk more about you before loving yourself. Of course, you've been through a lot. You've mentioned. So, who planned it to do the relocation, and how did it happen? Like from Romblon to Cavite, because that's too far.
Yeah, before since my family is been facing those situations, I remember they don't have the capacity to make a decision. I mean, they don't have this focus in doing the decision and stuff. That's why my relatives, the sisters of my mother needs to do the planning about the relocation because the relatives or the sister of my mother is now relocated here in Cavite. So that's why they made a suggestion for us to be relocated here so that we can have a fresh start.
And during your first few months here in Cavite, how did it make you feel? Did you feel safe? Did you feel relieved?
Honestly, I was just flat affect. I mean, there's no emotion at all. There's no emotion at all, either sad or happy. I was just following what is they are saying, what are they saying. I was just following the plan, doing what needs to be done, going to school, but there's no purpose, there's no passion, there's no urge in doing stuff.
And you've been like that for how many years?
I've been like that for 10 years.
So during that period, what were you doing with your life? Like, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm doing like test and trial with all stuff. Test and trial of what are the things that makes me happy. Test and trial of the plans. And during that years, there is the time that God called me. God called me way back 2017. God called me in the middle of not so good situation. God called me. And then to receive that calling, I mean, there's a new beginning, there's a new hope, there's a new start. So, yeah. But to answer your question, there is no particular method for me to be healed, but I was just going along and just, making myself happy in a manner of how to make myself happy.
And what was the turning point, or what made you realize that you really have to wake up from this bad situation in your life, or you really have to start giving yourself more attention, more love? What was the turning point?
The turning point happened just this year. Sorry, just this year, because last year I also experienced a abuse emotionally from a church. All right. So from a church, the place that I've been working with as a pastor. So I opted to not to discuss in a broad sense about that, but just this year it was a turning point of, yeah, Hazel, you need to set boundaries. You need to take care of yourself. You need to make a decision to walk away from those people who is hurting you, especially with the words. So yeah, I need to this year I need to make a decision to love myself, to love myself, to really really set boundaries.
And by setting boundaries, what do you mean by that? Like, you started to avoid certain groups, certain people?
To set boundaries is to also respect their boundaries. Yeah, I need to unfollow a certain group.
Because of what you've said, I would like to tell this. Let's normalize unfollowing people, group, or leaving from a certain situations that really compromise our mental health. Because people
Mm-hmm.
might think that, oh, you're so bitter, why are you leaving? Or you're so bitter, why did you unfollow me? What I have done to you? So I think let's normalize that. It's already 2021, guys. Like, we really have to give importance to what really saves us as a person. Going back
Mm-hmm.
to that phase in your life that you realize that you really have to give more worth to yourself, what are other things that you started, focusing on? What are the things that you started working on for you to practice self love?
This is a too personal, but I'd like to share it. I'm practicing self love in dating. All right, so in dating, there are a lot of guys expressing their intention to me, but I have this standard for myself, and it's form of self love that I will not date anymore if it's not serious or if it's not the person that I'll be marrying. So I'm practicing self love by not accommodating that person, by not entertaining that person, because I tried before entertaining this person, yeah, doing puppy love, but ending up that I hurt myself because that person is not serious. That person cheated on me. That person is just playing my feelings. So for me to compromise in that situation, that's not a form of self love. But right now, I understood what is self love in dating. So self love is, sticking with the standards that you have, waiting on the person that God has been preparing for you. Yeah, that is something that I'm working on. And I think I made the progress. I made the progress of that aspect. I'm saving myself from a lot of heartache.
For some people, they
Mhm.
might see this that, oh, you're just being so selfish because you want to protect yourself. You don't want to be hurt, or what have you. Actually, there really is a point in life that you will realize that, you don't have to be in a relationship just to be complete. You don't have to entertain everyone. You don't have to accommodate everyone just because they are feeling something about you. That just because they're appreciating you. You know what? I read this what do you call this meme that,
Mm.
there's a meme that says that, you've been in a long-term relationship and there you are again, asking someone's favorite color. So like it was so funny, like, because it's true, right? Like when you're in a relationship, you're investing so much, like emotions, time,
Yeah.
dreams,
Hmm.
plans to
Especially
do.
time. Time is
Yeah,
very important for all of us.
yeah, actually. So aside from the relationship, what about yourself? Did you mentioned earlier you're not particular with your nails. So right now, how did it change?
Yeah, here, I'm doing some DIY nails, especially the color that I love. I love nude, green or what. So I'm practicing self-love by workouts, doing some false eyelashes extension. It's not false. I mean eyelashes extension and doing some hair highlights because that's what I love. I mean, that's what's make me happy when I look in the mirror in every time. And also I'm investing with the skincare, skincare. Before I have a lot of acne right here. It's because of the hormonal imbalance. So I'm investing with skincare and a lot of stuff. Not so expensive because I made sure that I'm doing savings for the future. You know, stuff that I can achieve or stuff that I can purchase in a cheap manner.
But I can see the improvement. Like, I mean, you're beautiful even before, but right now it's enhanced. Like, you're very sophisticated right now. In terms of education, do you think that it's also a form of self love when you're investing in your education?
Yeah, it's form of self-love when it comes to pursuing the course that you have, because there is a certain reason why God dropped that course or desire in your heart, because you will be used in that field. Being a returnee student, I could have been working because I'm in the age of, yeah, I need to help my parents financially because I'm in the age. But I pray to God and I made sure that I will pursue this passion, this goal, this desire that I have. Because at the end of the day, it's beneficial for me. It's beneficial for me when it comes to, doing the work, expressing this passion to the other people, right? So it's more on investing on myself because no one will say to you that you need to pursue this or what. But honestly, during this pandemic, I've been in coasting with all the plans that I have. But I'm praying to God that God help me to be certain with the decision that I will make, to be led in the right path, to be led in the right path. Mhm. Because I don't want to waste my time in doing stuff that I don't love. I don't want to waste my time in doing the stuff that, I'm not interested really. There's no urge. But God, I'm thankful to God that He is leading me right now in work and in school. So to answer your question, self-love also is all investing on yourself, pursuing the degree that you want. Because just to give you a hint, because I want to be a cognitive psychologist. So I know it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of, studying and stuff, but I know I'll be there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because you trying your best to balance working and studying is a great thing
Mm-hmm.
already. And I know that with that kind of effort, you'll make it. If you're gonna give tips, advice, or something that you can share to our listeners about self-love, what would it be? Coming from a very strong woman like you.
All right. So I prepared three tips for you guys. So first, value yourself just as how God values you. So you need to, right now, you cannot understand it. You cannot see yourself just how God sees you, but God loves you so much. And you need to put that in your mind. that you are worthy, you are valuable. You are story in the making, right? Second is set boundaries, like what we have been talking a while ago. It's okay. It's really, really okay for you to do the unfollowing, to say no, to practice your rights. You need your boundaries, you need your space for you to have time for yourself, to think about plans, to think about such things. You need to set boundaries. And it's really, really good for your mental health. Promise. And thirdly, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. So I can share that what makes me happy right now is TikTok, listening music in Spotify. I hit the shuffle play because I want dynamic. I want a lot of genres, acoustic, hip hop, and I love writings, journals. It's very therapeutic because sometimes, like you all know, I'm single, and I'm not in a relationship. So I can say that journal is really really helpful right now. It's very therapeutic. So do what makes you happy. Do what make your soul alive. Everything. I mean, you need to sit down and find what are those things that makes you soul alive. What are your passion? If it's your passion to do podcast like Miss Angela, if it's your passion to play guitar, if it's your passion to do vlog, if it's if if eating food or what makes you happy, then do it. So yeah, value yourself just as how God values you, set boundaries and do what makes you happy.
That's very helpful. Like in those tips,
Mm-hmm.
setting boundaries, loving yourself, like God, how God loves you, and all that stuff. It will really help for you to have a clear mind, to have a
Mm-hmm.
focus. Anyway, thanks, Hazel. I'm really surprised. I'm really shocked with the revelations and all. I can I can say that you really are one of the toughest women I know in my
Thank
life,
you.
because to I don't know, to survive that kind of situation, it will really take a lot of courage. I really appreciate you telling me that kind of story, that I know it's very personal. So I
Mm-hmm.
must say that I'm grateful that you trust me and that you want to open this up to our listeners.
Thank you, Angela. Yeah, I'm privileged and I'm honored to share my story. And I know this is also be an encouragement to the other people.
Again,
Thank
thanks,
you for
Hazel.
having me.
Sure, for sure. So, again, this is Jella of the Wise and the Curious podcast, where the prudent meets the eager. And for more other episodes, please visit Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. Check us out at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. So that's all for now. See you later and have a great day.